You're listening to the official Push Square podcast featuring Ben and Ben. Do you push square?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Push Square podcast. My name's Ben Potter, and I'm the podcast editor for the best PlayStation website on the internet, pushsquare.com. And joining me, as always, even though it's only been 20 times, is Ben Tarrant. Wait, no, it's not. He's a backstabbing betrayer and a liar and a thief, and he's on holiday. Robert Ramsey is here. He's the associate editor of pushsquare.com. Hello, Robert.
Hello, Ben.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Where's Tarrant off to? Where's he going?
I don't care. Just being a liar somewhere. Just busy lying to someone else.
Christmas liar, Ben Tarrant.
Absolute liar, man. No, he's in Paris, I think.
But he's Paris?
I don't know. He's an artsy hipster, groovy hipster, isn't he?
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Does photos. I've been to Paris a few times. I think it's rubbish, personally.
Oh, Ben.
There's dog poo everywhere, Robert. It's completely overrated.
Those dirty...
Be careful.
Yeah, okay.
We've got dog poo here.
We do.
If I wanted to see dog poo, I'd just go outside here, you know?
Yeah, you have to go by the Eurostar.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Anyway, this is your second time on this show as a co-host, isn't it?
Yes, I believe it is. Last time it was in person.
Yes, and Tarrant also wasn't here because he was a liar. Well, actually...
I'm always filling in the gaps.
You are. You're like the cement that keeps the show... afloat. Well, not really. It would sink, wouldn't it? That's a bad metaphor, but you know what I mean.
Yes, I do.
You're like the polyfiller
and all that. Yeah, polyfiller.
It keeps this show together. So, this week on the Push Square podcast, obviously it's Christmas very soon. Very exciting. We've got absolutely nothing Christmas themed this episode. So there. We've got some news to run down first. We're going to, on the featured feature, we're going to talk about who is the best Final Fantasy protagonist. And then... joining me for the review of the show is this guy called Robert Ramsey. I don't know if he's going to be any good, but he's going to talk about Final Fantasy 15. So it's kind of a theme there. Do you see that, Robert? Kind of a theme.
Yeah, I do. I've heard about this game.
Then, speaking to us from the past is Ben Tarrant, who'll be Indie Bin this week, as he always is. And then we'll briefly talk about what we've been playing, do some audience questions, and then wrap it up with a nice little Christmas bow and then just, eat it and cry. Probably.
Ooh.
Christmas.
Sounds lovely.
Good. Let's start. News. First up, Mr. Ramsey. PlayStation VR title Battlezone is receiving an 80s mode because obviously Battlezone used to be a different game before the license was bought up by the developer of the VR version. Yep. Have you seen anything about this? Do you know much about this?
Not really. I'm not exactly the VR person. Sammy's more the VR guy. But have you seen it, Ben? Have you seen it?
I actually haven't. I haven't.
Oh, dear.
Tarrant tweeted it at me and said, hey, this looks amazing. And I was like, I'm not going to look at that. I haven't got time.
Next.
Next news story.
Okay. PS4 most quality exclusives of all the consoles of 2016.
Yeah.
Scientific facts as... noted by Metacritic.
Yeah, that trusted of places.
So what's this? 13 exclusives with a Metascore of 75 or above, while the Wii U and Xbox One could muster just 3 and 4 respectively. Oh my god.
Could only
Trash.
muster.
Absolute garbage.
What is the point? I don't even have one propping up my wonky chair, you
wouldn't even use one as a window thing.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't even wipe my ass with it, Robert. And it's not just because it's ergonomically uncomfortable. It's because I don't want that anywhere near me.
No.
That's quite harsh. They had a good year.
Yeah, but what's this? 4 titles surpassing the coveted 90 milestone. Uncharted The Thief's End was the highest rated title of the year. Deserved, Ben?
Exclusive, yeah. I think there were multi-platform games that maybe scored higher, but yeah, I think so. I can't even remember what came out. I can't even name more than one exclusive that came out this year.
Ratchet and Clank.
Oh yeah, that's one.
And the others, but
and 12 others. Yeah, Uncharted was good though. So that's great. That's I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Just some corporate backslapping.
But I think it solidifies that argument that for a long time it's been PS4's got no games, which has always been a lot of rubbish. But now it's kind of like there's so much diversity on PS4. If you count everything, if you count like the blockbusters, the indies, then everything in between, it's crazy.
There is a lot. There's a damn lot. Suddenly, we were sprung with the news that Gravity Rush 2 was getting a demo, which is out now.
Yeah, it is. Right now.
Have you played it yet?
No, I haven't. It's downloading.
I know Sammy's mad keen on that Gravity Rush.
Oh, yeah, he made about 1 million tweets about it on the official Push Square Twitter account.
Do you think he's a bit in love with Cat?
Oh, he's got a bit of a thing, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
A bit of a thing.
Bit of a thing for Cat.
He likes cats as well, in general, so...
Does he?
Yeah.
Maybe it's just the word.
Maybe the word just gets him.
Just gets his motor running.
Ooh, meow.
Just love that sound. I've got the Platinum in the Vita and the PS4 version, because of course I have.
Well done.
I'm looking forward to it. I won't be playing it though, because tomorrow I'm driving home for Christmas, Robert, and it's going to take me 4 hours, and I'm catching the train back up here in a week's time, so I can't take my PS4 with me and stuff.
No.
So I won't be downloading it until I get back, and then, you know.
Something to look forward to.
Exactly, because God knows Christmas is going to be awful.
Bloody Christmas.
I hate fun things, mate. What's next?
Forum Game of the Year. So the people in our forum, headed by McNoisy, or MC Noisy. Yeah. I don't know which way. I've never known which way to say it.
We always say the McNoisy, and he's never
McNoisy.
Yeah.
The MC Noisy.
MC Noisy.
MC Noisy.
Your music's terrible, MC Noisy.
But his forum posts aren't terrible, Ben. That's the thing.
He's a prolific forum member.
He is. And he organises all of these forum members, Game of the Year and best games. He's done loads of them before, and he did one last year. And forum Game of the Year went to Uncharted.
Good.
Yes.
That's good. That's a deserving
Uncharted
one. If it went to...
it's 93 Metacritic.
Yes, if it went to Titanfall, maybe that might raise some eyebrows. Good game, but as good as Uncharted. As good as Uncharted.
And I think it was all done via like a point system. So everybody said, oh, I like this best, and I like this best, and that got 3 points, and that got 1 point, whatever,
Gotcha.
And Uncharted came out at the end with the best. So well done, everyone.
Well done to the forum folk. That's very cool. You're all cool dudes. And if I knew you in real life, I'd give you a high five.
Woo!
Only one, though. One high five. For all of you. So, like, one representative could high five me, and that would be it for all of you.
And then you'd want your check and you'd go home.
Exactly. And then I'd wash my hands, of course. I might just cut the hand off, maybe. And throw it in the Tyne. Next, you should really be reading this one out, but Dynasty Warriors 9 has been announced. It will feature an open world and all previous 83 characters, Robert. 83?
Yes. Do you want us to list them?
Yeah. I do, actually.
No thanks.
There's Hing Hong and Wang Wang and Dim Dum, and that's slightly racist, maybe.
Yeah, you got thin ice here.
No, that was bad. Sorry, everyone. There's Chie and Yukiko and... Oh, no, that's a different one.
Is that still a little bit racist?
Is it? I'm not saying it because... No, I'm not saying it for racist reasons. You know what? Let's not even go there.
Right, okay.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Is it Dynasty or Dynasty? I've always said Dynasty.
Yeah, Dynasty. I think Dynasty is the American pronunciation.
Okay. Well, screw that then. Right, okay, so Dynasty Warriors 9 has been announced. And people have been waiting years and years and years for this because Dynasty Warriors 8, believe it or not, Ben, you know how everyone says Dynasty Warriors comes out every other week?
Yeah.
The last mainline Dynasty Warriors title was Dynasty Warriors 8, and that came out in 2000 and something?
Hold on. So before the 10? Okay.
I think so.
This is live research right now. Please stand by.
2011.
Whoa, that's a long time ago.
No, that was Dynasty Warriors 7. Dynasty Warriors 8 was 2013. So a relatively long time. So say this is Dynasty Warriors 9, 2000, and I assume next year, maybe.
So
that's
this would best be
the
best one ever if they've taken that long to make it.
Yeah, and but it's going open world apparently. There's like no details. The teaser trailer was basically concept art. They pulled a BioWare.
Oh no!
Yes,
they went full on EA.
The dirty. But yeah,
what is wrong with you today?
83 characters, Ben.
Yeah,
plus more. They'll be adding more than that.
Please stop.
Because I always add a few more.
It's too many. That's enough. We've got enough.
You never have enough ancient Chinese warlords.
They'll just release Dynasty Warriors 9.5 and add some more.
Quite possibly.
That's how it works.
But this open world thing's intriguing because I don't know how many Warriors games you've played, Ben, but you know of them.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
They're very much just these accessible action games that you can jump in, do a few stages. Stages maybe take 10 minutes each, something like that. And going open world, I don't know how they're quite going to do that because it's all very gamey and very arcade like in its action.
Yeah, isn't it in Dynasty Warriors between fights in these stages? Aren't you pretty much just running through a big map anyway, waiting to beat up more people? Yeah,
kind of.
So it's just going to be that, but extended.
I don't know. I don't know whether it's going to be like if it then turn it into more like an RPG where you kind of pick a character and you go from battlefield to battlefield and you meet people in the open world and that kind of thing, or if it just means that the stages are going to be huge, in which case, fair enough, I guess.
That'll be interesting. We'll find out soon, I imagine.
Yep.
What's next?
Okay, Final Fantasy 15 patch. This is the 3.2 gig patch that came out yesterday, I think. Well, yesterday when this is being recorded. And it added New Game Plus and fixed a few bugs.
Hooray!
So New Game Plus, what does it do? It allows you to start a new game as long as you finish the story.
Yeah.
And carry over your levels, all of your items, all of your abilities, all of your weapons, apart from one, which is the engine blade, which you can upgrade eventually into the Ultimate Blade or whatever it's called. Yeah, that's
the one I use.
For whatever reason, that isn't there. But you carry over absolutely everything else, and all of the enemies stay the same level. So it's basically pointless unless you want a really, really, really easy run of the game.
Wow, yeah, you can just fly through that without leveling up at all.
Yeah, I mean, because I barely did any side stuff when I was reviewing it to begin with, like at first, because I just wanted to get stuck into the story, and I was already over leveled. So, I mean, if you're going into the story and you're like, say, level 80, if you've been doing all the post-game stuff, and then you start New Game Plus, you go into it level 80, and then you end up fighting bosses who are like level 6.
Yeah.
It's like 2 hits. It's like...
I don't know. I probably won't do it, only because I've got to move on to other games now. I can't stick with it. I don't have time, Robert.
Oh, fair enough.
Crytek. They've closed 5 studios in Hungary, Bulgaria, South Korea, China, and Turkey.
Okay.
That's not good.
Nope.
Unfortunate for all the people that work there, obviously. Still completely baffled why they haven't done anything with the Time Splitters license. That confounds me.
The eternal question.
The eternal question. And I reckon if they made a Time Splitters game, they would be the most profitable company in the world. Even more profitable than Apple.
That's all it'd take.
That's it. Just re-release Time Splitters 2 on the PlayStation Store with trophies.
What's Crytek been doing recently? What was their last game? Was it that VR one?
Yeah, Robinson Journey.
That's it.
They're working on Warface, I think, and then obviously they work on the CryEngine 2, which is probably what a lot of these studios were doing, to be fair.
Yeah.
Engine stuff. So I don't know if they've just finished an engine, but even so, closing down studios isn't the same as letting people go. It's much worse.
Okay.
But there we go. What's next?
Uncharted 4 Survival, available now as a free update. Oh, lovely.
So this is a wave-based survival mode.
It is. It's quite good. It's quite fun.
Was it Uncharted 2 that had the proper story co-op stuff?
That was Uncharted 3.
Ah, okay.
2 did have kind of the co-op stuff as well, but Uncharted 3 gave it that whole kind of, you had to stop Lazarevich and Flynn, I think it was, from getting on the plane, something like that. I remember one of them. It kind of incorporated these stories into it. Yeah, this is very much just kind of horde mode, and then you fight a pirate boss at the end. It's good though. It's got multiple difficulty levels, loads of stuff to unlock. Its own upgrade system. Good
trophies.
And for a free update, it's got trophies as well.
It's not bad.
And for a free update, I mean, can't go wrong.
Do you reckon it's more of a, not necessarily a cry for help, but a please for the love of God, come and play our multiplayer?
Yeah, I don't know how popular Uncharted multiplayer is. I suspect it isn't as popular as things like, Battlefield, Call of Duty, Destiny, all of these kind of mainstays. I assume it's got a pretty solid core fan base, but I wouldn't be surprised if Survival was implemented in order to try and coax a few more people in.
Get the filthy casuals in. Like
Quite
us.
Possibly. Yes.
Filthy casuals.
Filthy casuals.
The Assassin's Creed film is rubbish.
Ooh.
Is that surprising?
Not. Well, I mean, it looked like it might have been kind of okay. When you get some video game movies that look like, well, this looks garbage, and then you get ones that look like, But yeah, it's supposed to be pretty bad.
How do you think that affects Ubisoft's plans for Assassin's Creed moving forwards?
I don't know if it does, to be honest. I think they'll just slap out the next. I mean, they said they were going to take a year off this year, didn't they? Mm-hmm. Look how that panned out. They released, 2 Chronicles games, a collection, something on PC or mobile, I can't remember which, some free-to-play thing, and then a movie. So that's like 5 things at least with Assassin's Creed on it. I don't think they'll really care. I think if they somehow the Assassin's Creed film fed into Ubisoft's projections for the property, then they must be living in fantasy land.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about Assassin's Creed moving forwards, because even with the year off, as you said, because Assassin's Creed has had such a presence, the announcement of a new Assassin's Creed game would not make it feel like there's been a year off. Be like, great, here comes another Assassin's Creed game. It's not been away long enough. And a bad film doesn't help.
The thing is, they released Unity when? 2014? And then...
Syndicate 2015.
And then Syndicate 2015. And I feel like Unity did such damage to the brand that Syndicate almost kind of went under the radar.
It was fine
for a lot of people.
Accounts.
Yeah, and it was a lot better than Unity, and yet it just kind of went and kind of slipped past.
Yeah.
I don't think Assassin's Creed, without something really, really good, I don't think Assassin's Creed is ever going to reach that point where it was like Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, and Black Flag to some degree, like all these games where kind of people were like, wow, Assassin's Creed, good, it's a good blockbuster.
Yeah.
It's kind of, it's really starting to dip now unless they can turn it around.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It's just that formula. I'm just sick of that formula.
Yeah.
Their open world formula that they have in all their games. It's very tiring. What's next?
Previously PS4 exclusive Rime. Remember Rime, Ben?
I do, vaguely, yeah.
Being rated for other platforms. Now, we knew that it was no longer... we knew that it was no longer a PS4 exclusive a while ago when Sony basically dropped it because they were kind of putting their power behind it and helping the developer who are, what are they called? Tequila Works?
Yeah, Tequila Works, yeah.
Sony were kind of, had their weight behind it. That's why it appeared at Sony's Gamescom. I think that's when it was first announced.
Right.
And Sony dropped it for whatever reason, and then Tequila Works came out and said, it's still in development, it's still good. It's not going to be PS4 exclusive anymore. And just the other week, it's basically been rated by the Brazilian rating board, which is often pretty accurate, that it's going to other platforms. So Xbox, Switch, I think Switch was on there, and PC.
Okay.
It's no surprise, but I mean, it's going to be interesting to see whether Rime is actually good or not.
Yeah.
Because Sony don't traditionally Sony don't drop projects that are good.
No, they stuck with No Man's Sky, didn't they? Oh! They stuck with Beyond Two Souls as well.
I mean, Sony is known, at least among the big three, for taking quite creative risks, really, for backing things that are not going to sell loads.
Yeah.
I mean, look how long it's stuck behind The Last Guardian, for example. So to drop Rhyme is a bit of a worrying sign, I'd say. But hopefully it's good.
Fingers crossed. Shenmue 3. Remember that?
I do, yeah.
Remember when that was announced? Well, apparently that should now be in full-scale production. They've made enough money. I think it was announced, 2 E3s ago?
Yeah, it was the part of the Holy Trinity, wasn't it, of Final Fantasy Remake, The Last Guardian, and Shenmue 3.
Yeah. So, Sammy will be happy.
Yes, he won't have to funnel any more money into that one.
How many times has he given money to that campaign?
Oh, I'm not at liberty to say, Ben.
Too much?
Yeah, I think so.
Fair enough. Next story. We're nearly done now. Next story.
Horizon Zero Dawn's release date brought forward 2 days to March the 1st.
That makes all the difference in the world.
And that's in the UK, I might add, because it was slightly, March the 3rd, so yeah.
Right.
2 days, I mean, it doesn't make a massive difference, but hey.
Hooray, it's finally going to happen.
And it does look good. It looks bloody good, Ben.
Okay, bloody good?
Bloody good.
Bloody good. Finally,
yes.
Yooka-Laylee, the Platonix 3D platformer, is due to release in April, on the 11th, specifically, next year.
Okay.
You looking forward to that?
I'm not a massive fan of platformers, if I'm honest, but it looks good. At least it looks like a return to that kind of Banjo-Kazooie style 3D platformer, which is nice. More variety. Yeah,
going back and playing the Sly collection and even the Jak and Daxter collection, I hate platformers now. I was playing them on Vita and while I was on holiday, and I just thought, I cannot stand these. I used to love these, and now I hate them. Because the finicky camera, the weird platforming, and the collecting, just the endless collecting, and I just really turns me off now.
Yeah, I do know what you mean. Because I think, Ratchet and Clank kind of slots into that category, but I think Ratchet and Clank has just enough kind of variety in its combat and kind of like weird things going on that it keeps you, it's managed to stay relevant to some degree.
Yeah.
Whereas I think, if it's not done with the utmost quality, I think a lot of platformers just kind of fall flat on their faces because it just becomes repetitive kind of grinds of finding collectibles and not much else. Yeah.
Well, a lot of people have their hopes and dreams invested in Yooka-Laylee, so fingers crossed that it's what they want. I hope it is good.
I have heard people have had good impressions of it, so
excellent. That's nice.
Hopefully.
But there we go. That's the news. Let's move on to our featured feature. Who is the best Final Fantasy protagonist? Feature time. Robert Ramsey.
Yes.
You've played a lot of Final Fantasy games, haven't you?
I've played every Final Fantasy game.
Oh my god. Okay, that's a lot. Who, even 11?
Yeah.
Weird.
Well, I tried it. I didn't play the whole thing because
weirdo.
Yeah, but
who's the best protagonist in your opinion?
No. Well, I mean, let's start with the actual poll first.
Okay.
And then we'll think about it. We ran a poll called "Who is the best Final Fantasy protagonist?" And the tagline is "Let's settle this."
Oof.
But basically, the idea was that we'd all played Final Fantasy by that point. I think it had been out for a couple of weeks, and we wanted to see, just think about how does Noctis play in all of this? Because, in my opinion, I don't mind Noctis that much. I think he's actually pretty good as far as Final Fantasy protagonists go.
Okay.
Don't know if you agree, Ben.
Well, I think he's an archetypal Final Fantasy character that's got nothing going for him. Personally, I found him fine. I found him bearable, which is good.
Okay.
But I don't think he's good necessarily.
That's fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, so who have we got here? We've got 171 votes.
Yeah.
That's members of Push Square.
Yeah.
And, okay, so we didn't include characters from Final Fantasy 1 because they're not really characters, because you kind of make them yourself, and, well, you don't make them yourself, but you choose their classes and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's no, like, named protagonist. Although in the Dissidia games, the fighting games with the Final Fantasy characters in them, they made the character from Final Fantasy 1 called the Warrior of Light.
Oh.
And they made him into a character in those games, but he's not really. He's just kind of like a throwaway
just
kind of hero guy. Yeah, exactly. And we left out Final Fantasy 3 as well, which is kind of the same story, because Final Fantasy 3's basically got 4 protagonists.
Right.
Who are all of the party. So we didn't really want to single one out, because I don't really think that works. So we've left those 2 out, and we've left out Final Fantasy 11 and 14 as well, because they're MMOs. So we've got Furion, Final Fantasy 2, he's got 0%.
Oh, sorry,
probably because
Furion.
Final Fantasy 2 is crap.
Whoa!
Cecil, Final Fantasy 4, who's quite good.
Yeah.
He's got 8%.
Okay.
Bart from Final Fantasy 5, who, let's face it, nobody really knows Final Fantasy 5 that well. He's got 1%.
Oof.
Terra from Final Fantasy 6, she's got 8%.
Okay.
She was good. Terra was good.
Okay.
Cloud from Final Fantasy 7, he's got 26%.
Of course he has.
By far, the leading character.
I voted
Squall, Final Fantasy 8 has got 11. Zidane from Zidane. Final Fantasy 9.
He's got a tail.
15%. He's got a tail. He's also got big bangs on his head.
Yeah, the best bangs.
Tidus, not Tidus. Tidus.
Ha 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 ha.
He's got 9%.
Yeah.
Van from Final Fantasy 12, who's a bit rubbish, he's got 2%.
Is he really called
Lightning.
Van or is it Van?
Van.
I think
it's Van, isn't it?
I want him to be called Van.
Van Man. Van the Man.
Here comes Van. Beep beep.
He'd be a better character. Lightning, Ben.
Yeah, she's
Divisive
awful.
Character.
Yeah.
12%.
Why? Who did that? Who voted for her?
And Noctis, 9%. So he didn't do too badly.
No, he's not. It's fresh in the memory. I'd be interested to know, like, in a year's time where people would put him.
Yeah, I think you need some time to kind of think about. I'm sure there'll be plenty of criticism all over YouTube and everywhere else of Final Fantasy 15. Everything it got wrong. Yeah, but yeah, Cloud won by a country mile, 26%.
He did.
And do you like Cloud, Ben?
I do like Cloud. I mean, I want to qualify this by obviously, I think a lot of people voting in this are not like you and have not played all of the Final Fantasy games.
Yeah.
Most people who played a Final Fantasy game will have played 7.
Yeah.
That's the same with me. I played 7, 8, 9, 13, and 15. And Cloud, for me, is the best out of those. Not just because I think Final Fantasy 7 is the best out of those games that I played, but also because he's the most complicated character. He starts off as a one-note, I don't want to be here guy, and then he evolves into this, oh wait, hang on, my entire backstory is a lie, what's going on? And he becomes like disabled for a bit, and then he comes back again and he's like, I've changed now, I'm an ass kicker and these are all my friends. And it's like he goes on a proper journey as a character, and I like that. He comes around to the crew of people that he's with, the misfits that he's with, in a really organic way that makes sense. Whereas the other guys, I didn't really feel much of an attachment to.
I think that's fair enough, and I think I'd agree to some extent. I do think Cloud's a good character. I think I like his relationship with Ares, with Tifa, Sephiroth. I like his relationships with these characters as well. His
relationship with Barrett as well, that you can go on a date with him. Which I didn't know until I was going for the platinum. So, that's nice.
Fantastic.
He's a cross-dresser. He's got so many strings to his bow.
He's got a massive sword.
Yeah, it's a huge weapon. Whoa.
Massive. He's got that mad hair as well.
Yeah, best hair.
He dresses in purple.
He does. Brave choice. Good boy.
He's good. But yeah, I think if I had to pick one, I think I'd pick Cloud as well.
Okay.
Although I think some people come close. I like Zidane because he was very kind of grounded, down to earth character.
I can't remember Final Fantasy 9. I hope they re-release it.
Yeah, I'm sure that. I mean, it got released on Steam not too long ago, didn't it?
Yeah,
I think it was this year.
Fingers crossed.
So, Squall. I don't mind Squall. I think the thing about Squall that I find quite endearing is that he's just a dick.
Yeah,
he's
just
an
meant to be dead or something.
Dick.
Doesn't he die or something? And the rest of the game is a dream or some nonsense like that.
No, that's Final Fantasy X.
Was it?
Yeah, it's Tidus. Yeah, he's part of the dream.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
could have sworn it was 8.
Yeah, it's weird in the sense that it turns out that they were all orphans at the same place, and yeah,
it's all of it. This stuff. It's been so long.
But yeah, I quite like Skull purely because he was, for most of the time, he's just a dick. Half of his dialogue is just ... or whatever.
Oh God. Yeah, I remember.
Apart from that, Tidus is alright. I don't mind Tidus. I think him and Yuna was quite sweet for the most part. And I do like the brotherly relationship he's got with Waka, who I know you like very much, Ben.
Oh, God. See, I'm a recent Final Fantasy X player, and everything about that relationship turned me off. All the characters, I just hated it all.
But yeah, who else? Noctis. I don't mind Noctis. I don't mind him. But I think that's because the other characters kind of bounce off him quite well. Ignis and Gladio and Prompto.
Can you imagine Noctis in the Cloud role? He'd be complaining about being there just like Cloud, except he'd be shouting at his dad instead. It's like, oh, my dad should send me on this suicide mission.
Is he Cloud with daddy issues?
Basically, he is, yeah, but he has no third arc turnaround. He just continuous daddy issues for 40 hours. He just whines for 40 hours straight. He does.
I don't want to be here.
I gave them toast in the game, and they spent the entire next day just battling on about it for the whole day, walking about toast just doesn't fill you up. I know, man. I'm so hungry. It's like, I just won't let you sleep then for the next 4 weeks. How's that? Make you run in circles until Gladiolus gets his bloody survival skill up to 10. Toast or nothing.
Oh.
7 out of 10.
Yeah. But yeah, that's your Final Fantasy protagonist.
Protagonist. Yeah, I think that's a fair reflection. I think on things. Don't know why lightning is so high. Honestly, completely baffled by that. I don't even want to talk about her.
Okay, let's move on.
Let's move on to, what is it that we're moving on to? Oh my God, it's the big review, Robert.
Oh, for God's sake.
Are you ready to talk to Robert about Final Fantasy?
Is he here?
I'll go and get him.
Okay.
Review time. Joining me now on the phone is Associate Editor of PushSquare.com, Robert Ramsey. Hello, Robert. Thank you for joining me.
Hello, Ben. Again.
What do you mean again? What are you talking about? Let's talk about Final Fantasy 15.
Yes.
It's been out for a little while. We're talking about it because you were here anyway, and there's not been many huge releases since that came out.
Yep.
How did you find it, Robert?
You know what, Ben? I really enjoyed Final Fantasy 15.
So did I!
Yay!
I liked it too. What did you think of the story in terms of setting the groundwork, keeping you invested, how strong the characters were, and then if it continued to a satisfying conclusion?
Okay, so I think for the first 7 chapters, the story's a mess.
Right.
I kind of see what they want to do. I mean, I think it's clearly been butchered and gutted and turned inside out and pieced back together over the last 10 years. I think that's abundantly clear. But I think it gets to a point where it kind of has you immersed in the world, like exploring the world and going around it and kind of doing these hunting quests and all this kind of stuff. And I think that's what they try to go for before they kind of ram the story into a conclusion.
Right.
I do think the relationship between Noctis and his mates is like, that's kind of like the core that replaces the story for me when I was playing it.
Okay.
Like it's like a substitute for it, and I think it worked all right. It would have been nice to have a bit more detail about the story and how things happened, and you know, a bit more screen time for the bad guys, maybe that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think by the time I got into this, like the latter half of the game, which is where it goes all linear, and I'm sure everybody's heard about this, that by that point I was kind of invested in the characters, and I thought, okay, well, fair enough. And then I kind of stuck with it, and I think it reaches a very epic, in the right sense of the word, and gratifying conclusion.
Fair enough. See, I was more interested in the story in the early goings, in that it was more of a distraction from what I was truly interested in, which was running about in the open world and doing side quests and camping and stuff like that, and fishing. When it started to ramp up for me, I found myself quite bewildered by what was going on. I thought, for me at least, I felt there were a lot of plot holes, a lot of things that were that required a suspension of disbelief. Key villains just showing up unprotected, wandering about on their own. And I was like, what are you doing here? This makes no sense. And I honestly, for the last linear bit, the bloody key card bit, going up the lift was doing my head in. Like, I just wanted it to be over. And then by the time I finished that, it was still going on a linear path, and it lost me. Honestly, it lost me towards the end. But the story was always a distraction for me, which is so weird because we're talking about a Final Fantasy game. The main story was always a distraction for me from the side questing, the hunting, the being in the open world, which I think is absolutely nailed. And I really enjoyed that. And as such, the weak story for me didn't negatively impact my experience.
Yeah, I'd agree. Even though we've got opposite opinions on how we like this story, but I think, I agree with what you're saying.
The rest of it was so good.
Yeah, I think it's got such a solid foundation. I like the combat. I like the open world. I mean, the side quests are pretty garbage, to be honest. But they're there. I feel like the side quests are there as just kind of like a vehicle to make you kind of go out and explore, rather than to be there and kind of add these like narrative threads to things. You know?
Yeah.
But Ben, if our opinions are swapped here on which parts of the story we like, because I really like. I mean, there are definitely plot holes, and there are definitely bits where you kind of have to go, really? Yeah. Okay. But what did you think of the ending? Did you like it as much as me?
I liked it from a cinematic perspective, where it did feel like everything was kicking off.
Yeah.
But I feel like it would have been better for me if I was more invested in the characters, if I cared about the villain or the plight, or knew what the hell was going on in the world outside of this city where the final conclusion takes place. Why the hell, what led me to get to that point happened, what the hell it was. There was a lot of stuff where I was completely bewildered, but as a showcase of look how mental this conclusion is, I think it was very good. In that sense.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But what do you think of the upcoming co-op that they're going to do? How do you think that's going to work?
I don't have a clue, to be honest. Do
you want to take a party member?
Yeah, I'd assume it would be like that, but I don't know how it's going to tie in, or if it's going to be its own separate mode, or like, obviously I don't think you're going to be able to bring 3 other people into your game. No. I think it's gonna be its own mode, but I mean, like, is it gonna be like, are there gonna be upgrades that you can buy, and like, is it gonna be like a proper co-op thing,
or is it just gonna be like dungeons or something?
Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna have to see. Yeah. We've got no details on it.
Be interesting.
Could be fun. Yeah.
Do you reckon the combat that they use in this game looks at all similar to the one that is in the gameplay for the Final Fantasy VII remake?
To some extent, yes, definitely. especially when you look at like the kind of movement, this kind of like floaty kind of as
like
the camera kind of
combat
sweeps
kind
in.
of stuff.
Yeah. I'd imagine it would form kind of like a basis for what they're going to use for the remake. But I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind if they used that. I think with a bit of refinement and kind of like making magic a bit better in it instead of them just being grenades, because to some extent I think in Final Fantasy, I only used magic in Final Fantasy 15, like I could count it on one hand how many times I had to use it.
Yeah, same.
And I just didn't see the need for it. I think if they were going to do it with Final Fantasy 7, because materia is such like a big thing in the game and stuff like that, I think magic would have to be more prevalent and easier to use and kind of just more, a core pillar of what the combat is, rather than just this thing that they've just seemed to staple on. Oh, grenades, magic, that'll do.
Yeah, I know obviously that we're getting a little off topic here, but I think the materia system in Final Fantasy VII was so good.
It needs to be retained.
And I saw a screenshot the other day I think I was looking up some pictures of the original Final Fantasy VII for whatever reason, and some of the remake popped up, and it was a screen grab from the gameplay that's been released, and it does have a summon option, whereas in this game the summons are incredible looking, but I'll be damned if I can tell you what triggers them or when you're allowed to use them, because I fought that bloody Adamantoise. And I tell you what, I could have used one in there. It took 2 hours, and it has over 5 million health.
Bloody hell!
It's just really boring. Like, it's not a hard fight. It's just boring. It's just very tedious. Did you see the video I posted on Twitter?
I was just about to say, I saw your video on Twitter. Yeah, and it was. If I may, Ben, I'll explain it.
I was fighting for an hour and a half at this point.
It looked grueling to begin with, because there's like a little bit at the start where you're just kind of hammering it with your sword.
Just a tiny speck of Noctis hitting his leg. And
then you just kind of physics glitch away from it, and you about a mile away, and then it kind of shuffles back into the ground.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the fight.
That's it. I got up on top of it, and it's a pretty glitchy fight anyway. The camera goes mental, and it spins around wildly, even though it's bloody huge, like one of the biggest enemies I've ever seen in a game. And you can attack any part of it. And but I got on top of it. I was doing a warp strike. I got on top of it. It span around in a circle and then flung me, as you said, miles out of the combat zone, and just said D rating for all of the combat. I was like, you've got to be joking. Really? You're going to do that to me?
Was that an actual attack, or was it kind of like a half glitch where it was a glitch? Yeah, it looked like it.
Me again. But the worst thing about that fight is that you can't hold circle like you normally do to attack. You have to keep tapping it. Because for some reason, because it's so big and the lock-on is so wonky in Final Fantasy 15, you keep trying to you're swinging and you're hitting it, but you're not doing any damage. And then after a while, you'll hold down circle and you'll just sort of stand there ready to attack next to it, but not do anything. So you have to keep pressing. It was awful, Robert. It took so long.
Yeah.
It took so long. But you gave it 8 out of 10.
After all that.
You fought the Adamantoise, gave it 8 out of 10.
Garbage lock-on system. Crap characters, crap story. 8 out of 10. Game of the year.
Game of the year, right there. But no, fantastic game. Really liked it in spite of its flaws. Really good game.
I think the big takeaway from Final Fantasy 15 for me was that it obviously could have been so much worse than it was.
Yeah.
But I don't think I had low expectations for it, but I don't think they coloured my final impressions of it. Because I think I ended up coming away from it thinking, you know what, this is actually quite unique.
Yeah.
Especially for an open world game. It's not quite it's quite unlike anything else on the PS4, I'd say, at this point. It's a really weird blend of like Japanese RPG, open world, kind of weird thematic, almost like theatric storytelling at points. But it's good. It's unique. Yeah. And I think that should be applauded these days.
There we go. 8 out of 10, pushsquare.com. You can still read that review. It's there.
Yep.
It's there to be read. Now, Robert, let's move on to Indie Bin. Let's go talk to the liar, shall we?
Let's do it.
And now it's time for Indie Bin. And joining me for the first time, even though it's been 20 times, is Ben Tarrant. Hello, Tarrant.
Hello, Potter.
I'm speaking to you in the past.
Essentially, yes.
Because you're going away. So, we've got to get you in here somehow.
Slip me in.
Slip you right on in. This is Indie Bin. What's happening?
Alienation by House Mark.
Tell me about this one.
You remember those folks from Resogun? That amazing shooter that was available at launch of the PS4? All them pixels. They've now done a twin-stick shooter. I mean, it came out a while ago, but they did a twin-stick shooter called Alienation. It's a top-down experience. 2016, so it was this year, April 2016, so it's not that old. And it's a completely different direction from Resogun, but still feels like Resogun. It's using both the sticks, one for movement, one for shooting, which was the same as Resogun. But this one's brought it a different kind of... It's completely co-op. You play it all online or offline. No, it's all online. And it's weird. Well, you go into it, you see the House Mark branding, and you think, oh yeah, pretty like safe in the knowledge here, twin-stick shooter, I know what I'm going to get. And it's really strange. Thinking about it, it's kind of like... I've played a couple of like PS Plus games that have been like this, that I can't remember the names of them, but it's just this top-down view with the laser beam as you're aiming. And it gets old really fast. They chuck a load of aliens in, and there's a like skeleton story throughout it. There's loot as well, which is an attempt to keep interest, but I got bored very quickly, and especially if you get really high ranked characters, like high ranked players joining your game, it completely balks the balance of the aliens. So I've found early on I was getting paired with like high level characters, and the bad guys were just way too difficult. So I'm just kind of constantly dying and being revived whilst everybody else is getting all the points, because it is like point focused, much like Resogun was. Okay.
Well, that's the thing. You were a big Resogun fan.
Yeah, I mean, we platinumed it together, didn't we?
Well, I helped you platinum.
Yeah, you helped me.
Yeah.
I needed your help.
I had mine for ages, friend.
That was a big effort. We did that. We played that so many times to get that platinum.
Yeah.
Appreciated.
You're very welcome.
The loot's good fun, though. I do like the loot.
Did you ever play
increase.
Dead Nation?
Yes, that's what it's reminding me of.
Right,
Thank you.
okay.
Yes, it's very much like Dead Nation. I think the whole kind of environmental design is a lot better than that. But I think I preferred the kind of tilted camera angle that you got from Dead Nation. It was a bit lower, so it felt a bit more 3D. I think if you proper grind it and play it a lot, it will get a lot better, because you'll start to be a bit more of a tank. There are 3 classes that you can play as, and I naturally opted for the tank. I did Titan in Destiny. I like that kind of play style.
Right.
But there's a healer and more agile classes as well that obviously suit other play styles, which is, it gives it an RPG element to it, and you do level up and stuff. But it's you kind of, with those RPG elements, you want to customize your character. You want to make him look how you want him to do. And a lot of that's paywalled. A lot of the cosmetic stuff is paywalled, which is unfortunate.
Right.
You can unlock some of them, and there is obviously in-game currency, but it isn't pay to win. It's just cosmetic stuff. But yeah, it's a funny one, because it did really well on release. 79% Metacritic and such. I believe we gave it a 9 out of 10. But it's got a different bin fate.
Oh no.
It's indie bin.
It's staying indie bin.
It is.
Oh, that might ruffle some feathers there, man.
Yeah, I know, but maybe
it didn't take you. It didn't grab you.
It might be because I'm playing it really late. So maybe servers are a bit thin, or it is just really high level players now. There's not many fresh blood. Maybe when everybody was playing it at the same time and going on the journey together. But it feels
That's a
intimidating
shame
to start with.
That's a shame. There we go. Wow, I think that's probably one of the probably one of the highest rated games that's remained indie bin, right?
Yeah, quite a divisive ruling from me there.
Wow, well, there we go. I hope you're enjoying your holiday that you're currently on, obviously, because this is the past. And thanks a lot, man. I'll see you in the new year.
You will. And actually, one quick thing about Indie Bin.
Go on.
We have to do an exemplary ruling on No Man's Sky.
Okay.
It was brought to my attention that I did give it a Fate of Indie Bin.
Right.
And recent events and the Foundation update and hours of my life, I have to revisit this case.
You're going to reopen it next time?
I am.
Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, if you're going to pardon one, then you've got to pardon them all. Those are the rules, the fake rules that I've just made up. So think wisely.
That throws a spanner in the works.
Think wisely about that, about these rules that are real and exist. Hey, Taryn, thank you very much, man. Let's move on to the next section. What are we playing? Robert, what have you been playing recently?
I've been playing a bit of Destiny, Ben.
Why?
Because it's the dawning. It's the dawning.
I don't care, Robert.
It's basically
and
like
neither
Destiny
should you. Stop, Robert.
It's Destiny Christmas, and it means that you can go sparrow racing with all your friends.
Ooh.
Sparrow racing is like Wipeout. If Wipeout's physics engine was f***ed.
Right.
And it's total dumb fun because you get like these little horns that you press circle while you're on your sparrow, and you do like a little beep beep if you've got that horn, and there's like other ones that are like da-da, and mental stuff like that, and it's 6 players competitive stuff, and you get good loot from it at the end. Well, you should get good loot. And it's just stupid racing fun.
Are you having
full
fun,
of?
though?
Yeah, I hate having fun as well, Ben.
Do you?
Yeah, I really do.
Oh, me too. Despise it.
But it's good. And apart from that, I've been just trying to finish off stuff in Final Fantasy 15. But I feel like we've talked about that enough.
That's enough of that crap.
What about you, Ben?
I got the platinum in Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
Did that yesterday.
Get Prompto in. Get him in.
No.
Do it. Go on.
No. No, Prompto. I swear to God, Prompto, if you come over here, I'll kick you in the face. He's backing off now. I also got the platinum in Her Majesty's Spiffing and Empire Staggers Back.
Oh, I've heard about that game, Ben.
We played it together.
We did.
It's great fun.
It was fun. It was
really fun. I liked it a lot. It's like a silly adventure game, like a point and click. Probably only suitable for a UK audience because all of the humour is referential to UK culture, all of it.
And a lot of it's very subtle as well.
Yeah, not to sound like condescending assholes, but there is a voice track that you can change from English to American, and the only difference is on the American one, there's a laughter track after every one of his lines.
After every joke.
Which is
it's very
funny.
Well done. It is.
It's great. He's got a real thing. He's got it in for BBC Three for some reason. He really takes that to town. Talks about Brexit a bit as well. It's a good game. I really liked it. It's simplistic in that it's not too long, and some of the puzzles are not overly clear. But we played it pretty much as soon as it came out, or just before it came out, and we had to work it all out ourselves, and it was very rewarding.
It was, and I think it is one of those ones where we benefited from playing it together.
Yes,
rather because we had a good laugh. It was very funny.
It's great fun. But that's pretty much it. That's what I've been doing. I think we're going to move on now to some audience questions.
Oh no.
Audience question time. Remember, you can submit questions by going to the Push Square forums, pushsquare.com/forums. We're in the online community section, I think. maybe? Online games?
Something
I don't know
like
what
that.
it is. We're stickied right to the top, though. And you can also email us podcast@pushsquare.com. First up, Tarrant. Look what I did. I used the name of the liar.
I'm gone.
I
I'm
called
done.
you the name of the liar, the man who lies about his whereabouts.
I'm done with this sham.
Sham.
This show.
Stop swearing, it's so difficult. Now I've got to make another note. Hang on. What was that? 49 minutes, 7 seconds. You're on the naughty list, Robert. I mean,
Oh, no.
Tarrant. Naughty list, Mr. Tarrant. Okay. Making a list, I'm checking it twice. You've been a right little Robert. Just put that down as well. 49 minutes and 26 seconds. Okay, no more swearing now. First up, Robert. Robert,
Yep.
if that is your
Yep.
real name, is Flux Ambassador. He says,
Hello, Flux Ambassador.
he emailed. He said,
The
what are
Ambassador
your...
of Flux.
Will
Sorry.
you shut up? He says, what are your must-buys for a PSVR?
None of them.
Cool. Batman Arkham VR. For I don't know, man. That's pretty much it for me.
What, is that just one game?
Yeah. Play the Playroom. Use the VR demo disc that comes with it. There's loads of good games. I forgot to say in what I've been playing. I played the VR mission for Battlefront, and it was really good. And I think they're going to make a full VR game, or just a full game where you fly X-wings. And then it will have VR modes, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, that's all good. That's good stuff, Flux. Thanks for your email. What's next, Robert? I mean, Tarrant.
Get it right. Bad Mother Adebisi.
Mm-hmm.
The legend himself. Who I played Destiny with the other night.
Oh,
by the
you're
way.
all sick.
Yeah, we're all in the little clique, Ben, the little Destiny clique.
Sick, and I don't even have PlayStation Plus. I'm just looking from my mud hut at the bottom of your Mount Olympus.
Little sign outside, no Potter allowed.
You're just being gods up there, and I'm like, keep it down! From my mud hut.
We can't have a sign saying no Bens because Tarrant's in our little Destiny clique.
Oh, yeah. Just a hive of scum and villainy up there on
You're the
PlayStation
only
Plus
person-
Mount Olympus.
You're the only person
Oh,
in the world
hang on.
who
Sorry,
doesn't play.
Robert. PlayStation Mount Olympus.
Very good.
Thank you. Carry on.
Very good. No, but you're the only person in the world who doesn't play Destiny, Ben, and you should be ashamed.
I'm living a very happy life. I'm very happy.
Okay, so Bad Mother says, pretty standard question. Which games are you most looking forward to playing this holiday?
Have you asked Father Christmas for any games?
I'm getting Pokemon Moon.
Oh my god. I've asked for Pokemon Sun. We could be twinsies. You okay? Did you sit on your hamster, Robert?
Yes.
He's dead now.
Yep, I'm going to do the little Simpsons bit where I throw him into the bin through a hoop.
Go on, make the noise. Jesus, alright, knocked. Settle down. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I've asked for just a couple of like supplementary cheap PS4 games like Lego Funhouse, the movie, the game, you know.
Platinum fodder.
Whatever crap is on sale, basically. Maybe the Batman Arkham Collection. As naff as that was, maybe. I don't know. Next question. Excuse me. Is that it then? Was it Pokemon Moon?
Pokemon Moon, but I am planning on finishing Skyrim as well, which I think is quite Christmassy game.
It can be, yeah.
Yeah.
Fus Rodar, etc.
What?
Domeister. He says, what are your favourite Christmas or holiday, whichever, themed events from video games? I have two.
You've got two, Ben?
I have two. And you'll love this one.
Oh.
It's Borderlands 2's How Marcus Saved Mercenary Day add-on.
Oh, that sounds... I nearly said it. That sounds hilarious.
Shut your goddamn mouth. You shut it. You shut it right now.
Sounds.
I don't need to hear your opinion.
It sounds.
I don't need to hear it.
And fun.
Shh. The other is Mafia 2's Christmas opening,
Ooh.
where you go downtown in your car, in the cab, and it's playing Christmassy music, and it's New York City but covered under snow and stuff, and then you get out and it's like a museum basically as you walk back home after coming back from World War II, and it's actually playing It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year while you're walking down the street and loads of people are walking about and stuff, and it's all Christmassy and there's snow and stuff. It's awesome. It's really cool.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it's great.
Yep.
What about you?
I'm trying to think.
Oh, that bit in Dynasty Warriors 7 when, like, they did where they pulled crackers and stuff.
Well, with 83 characters,
crap.
Ben, I mean, that would be one hell of a Christmas party.
Oh, the amount of food.
All the Chinese, it's all Chinese food as well, so it'll be good.
Amazing. Just chicken balls for days.
Yeah, hell yes.
And sometimes they'll have prawns in for some reason.
Damn.
And some will have chicken and prawns in. This is an in reference, by the way, guys, if you don't understand. We ordered a Chinese when Rob came around the other night, and I ordered the sweet and sour chicken balls. Half of them were prawn, for some reason, and a couple had chicken and prawn in. I don't know how that happened. What an adventure.
Yeah, it was.
Who needs to go outside?
It was incredible. Real icebreaker for parties.
It was. We had a merry time.
Christmas in video games. I'll tell you what was fun, and I found this out completely by accident, is in Fallout 4 on the 25th of December in-game, if you go to Diamond City, they've got Christmas decorations up and little trees.
Oh, that's nice. I mean, of course you were playing Fallout 4 on Christmas Day. Because
No.
I mean,
every day. This was Christmas Day in the game.
Oh, okay.
So you've got to wait for the actual system. Oh. Yeah, the actual clock to go up to... And it's the same for Halloween as well, 31st October.
Wow, when does it start? What day of the year does it start on?
September the something.
Oh, right, so you played through 3 in-game months, I suppose.
No, wait, no, bloody hell, no, it must be either October or November. I think it must be November because Halloween's been, and that's why there's like Halloween decorations up in some of the old houses.
Cool. Oh, you sure that wasn't when the bombs dropped?
Maybe. It's just before after Halloween, one of them.
Okay, I trust you, Robert.
Yes, but anyway, Christmas in Fallout. Oh. Very festive. Little super mutants going around with little hats on.
Do they really?
No.
Oh. Well, that's ruined my mood. Finally, quintuplely, he says to both of you, what are the best and the worst things you've had for Christmas?
I was speaking in terms of gifts here?
Yeah. Well, I assume like not a punch.
What are the best and worst things?
I can answer if you like while you're thinking.
Go on, Ben.
So the best one was I suppose it's turquoise is the colour? My turquoise Game Boy Color and a copy of Pokemon Blue.
Ooh, that's sweet.
That's
nice.
my best Christmas present. My worst is I had a rather eccentric uncle, right? And the presents from that side of the family were always rather peculiar. They weren't conventional, no money or anything like that. One year, I was promised this was part of a larger present that never failed. That never actually materialized. So it failed to materialize. But the bit that was under my tree was in sort of a candy cane themed bag, taped shut. Was assorted nuts and bolts.
Wow.
That was my present. Nuts and bolts in a Christmas-themed bag. I don't know what it was for. I never found out. The rest of the present never came. So, a bag of fucking... No, goddamn it. A bag of notes and butts. Throw me right off. Now I need to make more notes. 57 minutes.
You know, Ben, there'll come a time when you need that bag of nuts and bolts.
I think it's already been cannibalized into my dad's supplies of things. Can we just start swearing on this podcast, Sammy, please? For the love of God. So stressful.
Is it worse when I'm here? Is it that northern charm?
No, I mean normally I swear a fair amount. No, not really. I try to cut it back. When I do it, it's intentional, but that just then wasn't intentional. For God's sake. What about you, though? Come on. Spill
Best
the
and
beans.
worst things. Well, the best, I think, was maybe when I was about 6.
Mm-hmm.
And I got my original PlayStation,
Nice.
for Christmas with Crash Bandicoot
Oh.
and the Jurassic Park game, which was subsequently one of the worst things I ever got for Christmas. Because I played that and it was, when you're young and you don't really know what bad games are.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I used to buy awful things from GameStation all the time.
Like I bought like A Bug's Life because I liked the movie when I was a kid, and I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be great!" And I played the game, and I was like, "Oh, it's great," even though it's rubbish.
It's the best thing I've ever played.
Yeah, but I remember Jurassic Park being incredibly difficult, really rubbish, because all I wanted was a game where I could play as a T-Rex and eat people.
Yes.
I remember that PlayStation 1 tech demo. Mm-hmm. You got with the PlayStation 1, it was like a manta ray and a T-Rex. Remember that?
I know what you're talking about, but I never had a new PS1.
Oh, okay. But, yeah. I just wanted, I want to be a T-Rex and eat people. And the Jurassic Park game was like, you started off as like that little bloody rat dinosaur thing.
Okay.
A small thing. And you had to avoid being trampled by bigger dinosaurs, and you couldn't eat anything. You ate dragonflies. And then there was later on you played as a hunter who controlled crap. And he had a gun and he had to shoot velociraptors and crawl through caves. It was garbage, absolute trash.
You sound furious.
I am. When I start thinking about it, it's like, wow, I wasted a lot of my time playing that.
My mid pre-10s were an important part of my life, and I wasted it playing Jurassic crap.
Jurassic crap, yes.
I don't know, that wasn't very good, was it? I tried. I remember when my PS1 arrived, and it was secondhand and ordered from God knows where, and I unwrapped it. I was like, oh, hell yeah, Father Christmas got me a PlayStation 1. That's amazing. There were some games inside, all of them 18 rated, all of them.
My God.
So my parents were like, oh no, look, Father Christmas clearly made a mistake. And I was like, Father Christmas doesn't make mistakes. Father Christmas knew what he was doing. But no, I wasn't allowed to play, I can't remember what it was, Resident Evil as a child. And so we went to Electronics Boutique, traded them in, and my mum pointed out Final Fantasy VII and said, this one looks interesting.
Oh my God, we've come full circle.
And thus, my obsession was born.
Well done.
Good old mum.
Way.
My copy still has EB written on the discs. We think stickers are bad. Bloody permanent markers with EB written on the manual and the disc and the box. That was a real piss take right there. God damn it. Anyway, thank you very much for all your questions. As we already said, you can submit those by going to the Push Square forums. I've actually got it written down here on our show notes. I should probably confirm the information. Online and Communities is what it's called, the section. We stick it right to the top of that, just scroll to the back, and then just leave us a question. Alternatively, you can email us directly via podcast@pushsquare.com. Thank you very much.
And we have a Twitter account, the Push Square podcast Twitter account now.
Yeah.
With all kinds of shenanigans. Is that Tarrant? Tarrant wrote that?
Tarrant's written that. It's something stupid I say sometimes. Apparently that's a thing we do now.
I see. At Push Square Pod.
Push Square
Easy
Pod.
to remember.
Yeah, no underscores or one word, obviously. Thank you for all your questions, everybody. Let's move on to the end of the show.
All right, coming up on pushsquare.com is all of our Game of the Year coverage.
Whoa.
Are you excited, Ben?
I've seen the winner.
Have you?
Yeah.
Shut up. But yeah, all the Push Square Game of the Year coverage, which is all of our personal picks, all the stuff, with 10 best games of the year, which are in order, and I think the first one gets announced tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
I think tomorrow. Yeah, so you've got to stay tuned for that. And Ben.
Yeah.
How else can we find all this great PlayStation content?
Oh, wow, it's like you're reading off a sheet, Robert.
Oh my God.
If you want all that coming straight to your social media feeds, then follow us on Twitter @PushSquare or find us on Facebook Push Squares for Facebook.com. Want to see rather than read? Go to youtube.com/Push Square. It's where you can find the latest streams, vlogs, and other video form shenanigans. But what, Ramsey, would they do if they'd like to hear more of us for some reason?
Oh, well, the Push Square podcast can be found on SoundCloud.
You said that without any issues. Tarrant really struggles with SoundCloud.
SoundCloud?
He says SoundCloud.
SoundCloud. You've screwed me now.
Oh, sorry.
SoundCloud.
Oof.
Stitcher.
Yeah.
iTunes.
Nice.
Or you can go to pushsquare.com/podcast.
Yeah, we're all there apparently. All our episodes.
Easy.
So make sure you keep it locked to pushsquare.com, the best PlayStation website on the internet. And if anyone tells you otherwise, you can punch them in the face. And that's
a rule.
Nice. Hey, Tarrant, thank you so... Oh my God, I did it again!
Oh.
Just making a note of that. Oh, this is going to be a really annoying edit. Well, you see, Mr. Ramsey, the problem is that I'm so used to doing this outro with Tarrant that I just... And as it's all scripted as well, I'm just so used to saying his name there. I'm sorry. I know you're not him. You're not a liar like he is. A filthy, dirty liar.
No.
He takes photos of things for fun. For fun. I only take photos of things for evidence. Thank you for joining me.
It's been a pleasure, Ben.
I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. And a
you
happy
too.
New Year as well. And that goes for everyone listening. Thank you for putting up with us. It's almost a year since we started this thing. Will we do something big for our birthday? Probably not. But you should listen anyway, because it will happen. The podcast. It will carry on happening. Robert, thank you.
Thanks, Ben.
Love
Bye.
you. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Push Square Podcast. For the latest PlayStation news, reviews, and features, visit www.pushsquare.com.